It's been quite an interesting week, of course. It's another weekend, and it's Let's Be Real on Sunday with you this night. Of course, your hosts are in town.
Yes, they are. Can I give you a grand introduction?
Yes.
And now, the lady who sits in the center, please frame her as my voice glides over her aura. The lady whose head shines with intelligence and elegance. She is crowned in beauty. Her name is one and only Dr. C.
I don't even need to say anymore.
Maria, you go ahead. Maria, do me. Then I'll do you. Go ahead. Do me. Introduce me.
Oh, you're not to
Introduce me.
I introduce you.
Yes.
Yeah, not to do.
Are you even sure you want me to introduce you?
Introduce me. Go ahead.
Okay, fine. The single guy. The player. The one person who will tell you the truth. But sometimes he thinks his ideas are the right ones.
Yes.
The one who believes that all men are right. And the one person who is so wrong when it comes to that topic. Simon.
Thank you. And this right here. You know when let me introduce you to Maria. You ever seen a woman who says marriage is a scam, but she decides to get in that marriage herself? Have you ever seen a woman who actually now embodies the elegance of a parent? And she actually enhances your fitness, all you ladies out there. She is not only a fitness guru, she's not only a parenting guru, but she's a woman of excellence, a woman of intellect, the one and only Maria! CEO! Start us off.
Thank you very much. I'm CEO Charles Otieno. Welcome to the show. Of course, let's start with the first story. This week, or actually last week, there was a very big meeting on border borders, and the border menace has been a problem in the country because of the drive-by shootings, the muggings, the phone snatchings, the recklessness on the road, and many other things which are attributed to the rise of borders. Currently, the country has 1.4 million people operating borders. It's a huge investment. It needs to be regularized. So the government has come with a framework to look at a way how this industry will be tamed from the rogue operations.
Elements.
And the rogue elements, and the rogue ones to be kicked out. What is your take?
Quick take. Here's what's in mine is quickly in the sense that it'll be like this. Border operators already have various rules and regulations that they actually do the traffic laws and also even criminal laws that are actually there. The problem we have in Kenya is not necessarily words or even written law, is more or less implementation of this. And border operators actually need more of less of empowerment in the sense of provision of these things, because what you're telling is a normal guy who literally just trying to actually make a living for his family to go out there and earn even a good conduct. He has to go get a good conduct that costs money. He has to go get even more extra elements, and then now they even try to implement these different colors and everything. The most stringent things that we add on to various economies that actually the lower level income earning individuals actually have an opportunity to earn, self-employ themselves, the more we put more measures, the harder it is for Kenyans to actually get an income for the family, and that's actually can lead to now rogue operators to working behind the scenes. Please, let's work on implementing the current laws that we have so we can actually now give a conducive environment for border operators to actually now be there and Kenyans to actually earn an living. That's what we want.
You see, the point here is there's a difference between the border operators and someone owning a motorbike just to ride it, and there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, you find that we may be putting these measures saying border guys, and maybe these rogue activities come from just common people who own motorbikes, because it's a motorbike, anyone can afford it and just use it. So I think having the measures could not have been the good conduct and all these expensive things. I think there could be a basic thing whereby if NTSA can come up with specific number for anyone who is a border rider and have it on the helmet, something like that, so that we can identify the people. Because at this point, I don't see why we are looking at the measures more like we are looking at what they are actually is affecting people is the rogue aspect of it. But let's also not forget that there are so many border operators who get out of their house and their only wish is which car will hit me today, because they just drive the way they want, behave the way they want on the road, and they don't care about their lives. So there's also that aspect that we should not dismiss. But for me, when it comes to having these measures, I don't think we should have these cost implications, because we, at the end of the day, in as much as you want them, yes, it's important also, because nowadays you find an high school kid comes from school, goes to ride a boda boda. It happens, yes. That's what they like. An high school kid comes from school and rides a boda boda. So the measures are also good, but don't just make them so stiff. Just have the NTSA whereby if I have this helmet, this is my number. Let me be identified with this on a boda boda, so that people can know I'm a boda boda rider. Rather than having, I am going to a boda boda, I'm not going to be telling the person who is going to carry me, hi, nifikisha pale mbele, lakini kwanza nionyeshe good conduct yako. See, we're not going to be seeing that.
So for me, I want to say that boda bodas are here to stay. They're not going anywhere. Because when you look at who are going to be the next dollar billionaires, actually, there are people who are in logistics. And if you're in logistics, you know, particularly like in this country, boda bodas play a really big role, not just in human transport, but also in that last mile. We've seen a lot of retail stores actually closing. And people are just keeping warehouses, and you order online and somebody takes and delivers. Most of the people doing that job are boda bodas. So they have a place in this economy, and I think therefore, yes, we need to hasten in terms of developing a proper regulatory framework such that they can operate in. But also the boda bodas themselves, they need to understand that they feel a really important part of the economy. They're not downtrodden. Like what they're doing is so important in the logistics, but also in the human transport. Particularly because I don't think some of them really get the education about the dangers that lurk on the road. In terms of all of us need to obey traffic rules. You know, you just need to go to the orthopedic hospital. In fact, they need to be going there every month to see the people who are there with broken legs, broken arms. Let me tell you, you will not even want to get on a boda boda. So the whole point is that the orthopedic department in the hospitals is full of boda bodas who've been hit, because they sort of seem to think they are invincible. They are operating in this, you're turning like this, they're operating at night, imagine with no lights. They get hit. And some of them are becoming gullible. Some of the boda bodas being used to take out people. So yes, we need a regulatory framework, because just on an economy point of view, they're serving the boda boda industry is now worth about, I saw something about 1.something billion.
It's a lot of people.
And it's growing. They're here to stay. So therefore, I'm for regulation and proper training.
So I think you guys have captured it well, but number one is that when I look at the boda boda industry, it was founded to spur growth and economy by Mwai Kibaki, and it was after a meeting when too many Kenyans were riding on bicycles, and they thought, how would it be easier to actually kill unemployment in this country? And the first thing President Kibaki did was to lower the tariffs of importing of motorcycles for the youth to get into that economy, and it has worked magic for a very long time. My only issue with boda boda, the way it is operating, is because they did not allow people to import the motorcycles with a proper framework. A proper framework is people should have been buying these motorcycles belonging to a certain group or a circle, so that whenever we are a group of 10 or 15, we have a stage, we have uniforms, we can be told we operate. If that uniform moves from, let's say here, Mombasa Road to Langata, we know only the motorcycles from Mombasa Road are a certain number, they are by these people and they're this color. So whenever at night or during the day, that uniform is seen another place, those people on that area can say the rider who caused an accident does not come from here.
from Mombasa Road.
It comes from Mombasa Road. So we need a proper mechanism of looking at the people who are employed or people who are working in this industry, give them proper structure. The way matatus have a proper routes and the way they move. So when they move to pick people or drop, because they're used in logistics, we know these are logistics bike. We know this is a bike, a personal bike. You are just riding. You're not a boda rider. And these things should be put in a framework. There we will know if you are knocked, they'll not take the law into their hands. Because the biggest problem as motorists have with bodas is that you knock someone, they burn your car. And the person who the motorist knocked, the boda driver first of all came from the blind side, crossed the road in the wrong place, and the moment you just hit that boda, your car is gone. Yes. And they've burnt so many vehicles. They've killed people. It is a dangerous, we cannot continue as a country with a sector which is ungoverned, a sector which is not controlled, a sector which operates the way they like, they drive on the roads the way they think. It is not tenable. In a long run, and that's why people are being hired to take people out. Because at night, some of them pose as boda riders, but because you don't know where this guy comes from, he has no stage, he doesn't have a permanent abode, they're used for criminal activities at night. So the moment we will have these rules, and I'm not talking about you going to NTSA to register what, we just need proper rules of where do you come from, this is your stage, how many people are here, this is your uniform, the helmets are registered, the colors are different. Whenever they are, you are known. If you cause an accident, it is your group which will actually bring you out and say, no, Simon, you are the problem, as we operate a genuine business, so that it becomes a business.
You know, the only thing I have with this is this, because this also even translates into other sectors. One issue I have with the government is the first impulse is increase regulation and give more stipulation, not provide conducive environment as first. And here's what I mean. This usually happens even in various sectors of even society, be it even business, be it even in media, be it even other sectors. The government's priority is always offer more regulation. Always be wary when the government always wants to give more regulation and less actual facilitation of you to actually execute your business. So the only issue even I understand with the border guys is this aspect of things is because borders are very crucial for the Kenyan economy. That is a fact. And what I want is the government to actually now seek first facilitation of making sure that indeed those people who are actually genuinely working within the border industry, which are the majority, the minority are the criminals, which are the majority, how to you actually now make sure that even indeed, be it now spare parts, be it from even the facilitation of how the business can actually even be done properly, so that now when it comes to now this is now a thriving business, then now regulation comes secondary, because the government will always want to overreach when it comes to regulations. That can almost even feel like a curse. You know about curses too, Dr. C?
Yeah. So me, I have just a simple question, and me today I want to start with CEO. We know that curses curses exist. People curse, but do they really work in the way that they are perceived? CEO.
Curses are there biblically, and if you believe in the Holy Bible, of course, curses are there. Number one, if you are a father, like myself, there are some things I don't tell my sons because my tongue is very strong. So I can never say things which will be in future, because the power of your tongue biblically is a very strong tool. If you might say something, if you call your kid wewe ni mjinga or wewe what, that thing will come and in future. So the parents can curse their kids, by the way. It is there. And if you do not believe their curses, if you are born again, and I will tell you, people who go to church will tell you, one of the biggest things you have to do is to be taught how to pray about breaking the curses, the family lineage curses which have been there for a very long time. And these curses can be to 7 generations. So you find that if your family has always died in accidents, if you do not break that curse, someone in your family will always die, and the grandchildren, someone will die, and it becomes a thing. People die, or if people are being killed, or people die by the river, drowning, you find a family has that problem.
Okay.
So biblically, these things are there. And if you go to areas where you understand these things, you will not actually blindly say these things are not there. Because you see, what social media has taught us is that we question a lot of things. We question a lot of things until it happens to us. Then you realize you might be thinking you're doing very well, and you're not moving on with your life. Your life does not move. And you think you are putting all the effort in the world, you are well educated. You've seen those guys properly, they work very hard every day. They go to the office, but at the end of the day, if people are being fired, they're the first one to be fired. Their fathers are fired. It's a problem. There's always, you have to go and relook at yourself and ask yourself, what in my generation did we do? Because these things, some of them are generational.
Dr.
But
Zip?
can I, let me ask something. Let me just say, I agree with what you're saying. You know, I think all of us, you may have heard of something called abracadabra. That's what I create as I speak. Even though it's a word associated with witches. Yeah, it's a Jewish word meaning I create as I speak. So to some level, nobody knows, because no one, it's not, from where I sit, I don't think it's a yes or a no answer, because it's not empirical. We cannot measure it. Like cause and effect, there's no scientific way of measuring. But also according to by the way, yes, the other day I was at an event, we were blessing a young lady going to the UK to study law. And I learned something very interesting, that in the Kikuyu culture, women cannot bless.
You can't.
Women don't bless. It is
women,
men.
And women can't curse.
Yes, it is men who actually, so the word of, because...
Can't.
Oh, the women cannot curse.
Your mother cannot curse you. Your father will curse you.
Yes, and blessings come from your father.
Interesting.
True.
Yes, even biblically
Yeah.
they do. And so for me, the way I take curses is like, you know, the same way they say there's an evil eye. So for me, of late, I've just really come to believe in energy. The power of energy. God is the big force, the big energy. And therefore, if you pronounce certain things, you know, in the beginning, God created, and he said, let there be this and let there be the, and by his word, and he said, let us create human beings in our own image and likeness. So therefore, I think so that if you speak certain things, they're likely to happen because you have created them. And because God is
within us.
Maybe God was a woman, but biblically, if we are talking about the Bible that we are talking about, he was he was a man. Yeah? And therefore, yes, I agree with you, yes, men have a very strong word, yeah, in terms of that. So we have to be careful about what we are saying, what we are speaking out of our mouth. But I want to say this. Sometimes it's not curses.
It's what?
Sometimes people, just because it's believed that, oh, there's a curse on so and so, and then you start believing in that way, and then the brain in its own machine, yeah, like a computer, you put in this, and it will give you all the reasons why you're cursed. And therefore, you will start behaving in that way, and therefore, you will find yourself cursed. But yes, biblically, there are examples. Let me not exhaust. Maria.
Are you cursed?
No, she's blessed.
I'm so blessed. What I always say also sometimes is, maybe I would say that the parental aspect is serious, and it's true, and it's very real. That I've had severally. Actually, I remember my parents teaching me about it. But now there's this whereby, like, just a stranger will just think that they say something and then they create. I tend to believe that if there's no connection or there's nothing, like someone can just walk into this room, I don't know you, then you start saying words that should affect my life or should be a curse to me. I also feel like sometimes even the fact that there's a connection has something to do with, you said, the power of your tongue. Your tongue cannot have power over a stranger. You don't know anything. Like, you cannot curse me with something that I am not, or you don't know anything about me. Mostly I feel like curse comes with a certain connection for it to make sense. And I think that's why for fathers it's strong, because there has to be a way for it to be like, yes, they said something and it's serious. But generally, I always say, please respect people in all ways, and always make sure that what you say to others is positive, because you never know what your words could actually affect other people's lives.
There's a room for negativity in this world, and I recognize its input, but at the same time, even if you are quote unquote cursed by someone, it's upon you. It's your actions that actually now determine whether that will actually now be materialized into actuality. Yeah, so when it comes to curses, the main thing is, no matter what someone has said about you, or even be it even your father, so on and so forth, it's upon you and the actions that you take after that quote-unquote curse that now determines the outcomes of what they have actually said. Because the thing is, limiting yourself based on curses is now what causes a lot of people now to confine themselves, and then now literally now living down to the curse. And because there are ways that you can actually even break those curses by the actions that you take. I do not choose to limit myself based on some quote-unquote curse. And at the same time, I would even want to tell you, don't limit yourself towards even the blessing that you think that someone has. Someone thinks that you're saying, I bless you with one car. Why are you thinking that even you will be limited with that one car? You should even go further, even get yourself that second or third car. That's why I say, go beyond the realms of just even the blessings and even the curses, because you are not limited by what someone says, or even someone say, or even someone even blesses or even says about even your life. You are the one who defines it based on the actions that you take and the things that you say even to yourself. I would say you curse yourself more by the things that you say to yourself more than whatever anybody says about you or even over you. That is literally now what I say, even more than even your parents. But at the same time, even when it comes to even your parents, make sure you give them the due respect, even if they have been horrific and bad to you. Because at the same time, a lot of people even now currently see, even we constantly say that parents are toxic. That's what we guys say. So that's the truth. Our parents are toxic and everything. Parents. Yeah, be careful when you say that sort of thing, because you are soon going to be a parent. But even if your parents have been toxic, don't limit yourself to their toxic energy, but move with the elegance of the direction and the purpose that you have even with your life. That's something I would even say.
Let's go for a break.
Yeah.
I'm blessing you, Simon, with a wife. And on that note, we'll take a short break. We'll be right back on Let's Be Real. Welcome back. The show is interesting, and on the topic of blessings and curses, I am so happy that all of you in this panel are blessed. Now let's talk about being a blessing to others. Yes. Now, in as much as we give everything, we give money, we give books, we give bags, any gift. Now, we can actually also give our spouses to our friends who do not have, because like we always say, sharing is caring. So I can confidently, happily, with my energy and love, lend my husband to a friend. Okay.
Husband or boyfriend?
Boyfriend, husband, any. You can lend any.
You know the funny thing, Dr. C? Dr. C, funny story. I've actually, this is a past, even let me even tell you guys. Listen, this is secret. Funny story. I've actually been proposed to be lended to a friend by someone who was actually currently even dating at that moment in time. They said, hey, let me see if I can lend you to my friend, and maybe we can actually turn this into a business. That is the madness that's going on out here. See you.
No, I told you that the generational shift is very interesting, because there are no boundaries in certain things. There is no exclusivity in relationships nowadays. I can see many girls have more than one partners. Many guys have more than one partners. So when you blur the lines, then such issues happens. Yeah. But if there are also people who still believe that when you get to know someone, it's for you and it's yours alone. So it's a school of thought. If you come from that school of thought where you believe that it is not, you cannot share boyfriends, you cannot share girlfriends, then you're in a safe space. But there are other people, like Manège Trois, the French.
Yeah.
You remember during the French in the 15th century when
The time
people,
of Louis the 14th.
yes, could have orgies and in public.
That's free.
Yes.
That's nice.
It was very freak generation.
Sounds like my
Where you just walk in, the woman you find and the guy you find, wherever you sleep, it's your own business. So there was no problem. But generations change. That was in 15th century. Now,
That was the time of syphilis.
yes, and that's how syphilis spread and many diseases, because people could sleep with whoever you get. You couldn't say that this is my girlfriend. Your girlfriend, and also I always tell people, when King George now came to power, you've seen this word, F-U-C-K. Do you know what it means?
Get out of here.
F-U-C-K.
Yes.
Can we even say it?
Do you know what it means?
It's just a curse
explain.
word. Just a curse word.
It's not a curse word.
Me, I
It's
want
a-
to know.
F-U-C-K is abbreviation
For
For
because the generation before was so bad, I was so free sexually, that the king made a decree
no.
that if you want to engage in coitus, you must get a special permit.
Hey.
And that permit, that permit was fornication under consent of king. Is that we call
Fornication under consent of king.
Yes.
And you used to have it sealed and stamped, and you put it outside your door
No, in
when a girl is with you in the house before marriage, but you had promised the king that you're going to marry that girl. So that's where that word comes from.
Well,
So some of us are so deep
Fornication under consent
of the king.
It sounds more elegant than
You understand? So
Yes,
people,
actually.
women who were taken into those rooms at that time were considered cheap. That's why that word became a curse word
I see.
eventually. And it's used today. When I say, are you like
Yeah,
that?
yeah, I get you.
Because it came from that background, historically.
Hey.
What am I saying? I'm saying that generations shift. And
Okay.
do not shift with the generation. Stick to what you know is true.
Dr.
Me, I
C,
want to say something.
after that.
So we're talking about
lending your spouse to
letting a
someone.
spouse.
Would you?
So number one, yes. So let me tell a story. So one time I was in between relationships. Yeah?
Yeah.
I met a new boyfriend and there was another boyfriend, and they happened to have visited me at the same time.
Uh-oh.
So, because this is the new one, the other one had been away for so long and he had just arrived in the country. And now I had promised myself, actually, to somebody else who ended up marrying me now, my husband. So now this one has arrived and I'm like, how am I going to deal with these two people? So I decided to lend him to one of my girlfriends who were going I don't know where. And they nicely went to some event together, but not to fornicate. Yeah, they didn't do that. Yeah, but by the time, so this is where I'm coming up with my argument. By the time that happens, that relationship, usually it's either you're deep, really deep friends, or that relationship with that man is finished. And yes, you see, you can have two friends who may decide we're going to get married to one man. It's just the opposite of polygamy. So it is not the man deciding that
ladies.
I'm marrying you and I'm going to marry 5 other women that you don't know. It is these women who have come together and we have said that is going to be our husband. He's going to look after us.
What do they see for them to decide that?
No, it's because you look.
It makes sense, by the
You've
way.
seen even I was thinking about it. And I'm like, yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
I see that.
It makes a lot of sense because these are women who agree. They see things. There's no
no insecurity.
competition. There is no insecurity. There is nothing.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's about the man is there.
We chose him.
Yeah, we've chosen him and we are marrying him. What is wrong with that?
Exactly.
I don't see anything actually wrong with it because in these days when we can virtually make decisions about anything, so why not decide we're going to marry one man?
This is the epitome of women empowerment in which now two women can actually come together and actually
Not
decide.
just two, even then any number.
Exactly. To come together and say that indeed we have
Maria
chosen
is
that
so
this
shocked.
man to come now to be my husband, because I say only insecure women would disagree with that because they're insecure about themselves and that indeed that they would lose their man. Are you insecure, Wewe?
No, I'm not.
So what do you want? Somebody you
You're not lending.
I'm not lending you
why
my
not?
part.
But
The
in the
relationship
Luya
is
culture-
over if I am going to give. Why am I giving you my
It's a
husband?
friend.
But in the Luya culture,
Uh-huh.
in the Wangas, so it's the first wife who actually is tasked to go and look for the second wife and
Yes.
the third wife
Yeah,
and
it
the
is.
fourth wife, and she's the king, she's the queen sitting in her queendom, and all of you, she's the one finding the wives for the
But
husband.
why do you
I
disagree?
would do
Go
do
ahead.
that. I would find the wife for the husband after I've left the husband. Not that I'm there. You see, what I'm saying is, let's be realistic. I get it. Like, when we make those vows, it was one man, one woman.
Which vows?
The vows in church we make. Me, I'm talking
That's just
about.
one kind of vows.
Yes.
There's African vows.
You see now,
where they
people
marry many
cheat
wives.
with African vows.
Oh, no,
But
we
they
don't.
become
Cheating.
faithful
Let her
with
finish.
church.
Let her finish.
With church. Let me be honest with you, we are not sharing spouses. Please, we are not. And we are not sharing spouses. And the king is not consenting on this one. This one, the king has said no. Even if you are my friend, we are not sharing a spouse.
You're not.
That one you have
You
refused.
cannot at all.
No, that's
For me,
one,
I
no.
say only a very secure woman would actually now see the need to go beyond herself and actually say, you know what, let me bring my friend here. And actually now we actually now target this man. We say that indeed, hey, me and you are really good together as friends. Let's also now get this man who actually can take care of us together at the same time. And then we have a very good symbiotic relationship. I'm not insecure about you. You're not insecure about me. Let's make this work together. And let's actually fight against life, not fight against each other. Literally. Because a lot of people are also fighting against Ruto on this thing that actually even happened with the fact that even now he's trying to purchase a new flight. Yes, he is. What's happening is the old one that's actually going out of stock because it's actually made by Focor. It's another jet. It's actually been around. Harambe one has been around for like almost over 30 years. But it's been malfunctioning left, right, and center. Even at the same time, even one time it was even laid down. It was not even, it was actually not allowed to even take flight. It was just there, stuck on the ground, grounded actually, literally for some time. And it actually hindered even the president from even making his proper flights. And he cannot even travel internationally in one way because he can actually limited in the tank capacity for even fuel and everything. But before even I say my thoughts, I would like to hear your thoughts on the president actually now needing, it's actually being maintained right now. The president right now is just doing chartering flights left, right, and center. Kenya Airways, CG from friends in Saudi Arabia or wherever that he has. But yeah, right now he's actually he doesn't have a flight. He's waiting for it to come back. Then after now, last year will be 2026 will be the last year for this Harambe one.
What did Trump do to get a free?
He leveraged the US though.
So how can we leverage Kenya? I can clearly see from how you've explained actually. When I read that story, I didn't go deep. And I did not understand why do we need if there are mothers in Eldoret stuck there. Because that story came out the same day when one of the dailies ran a story about mothers stuck in a hospital, they cannot pay their bills. And I'm like, exactly that's how much money we need to spur economic development and to get the mothers out. But in the way that you have explained it, what I would like to see is a proper cost-benefit analysis. Because if you're going to go to Ethiopia and spend, I don't know how many millions and billions, just here, there was another scandal on how much money is being spent. Can they just break it to us, the cost-benefit analysis? I'll say yes, buy a new jet. That is the office of the president. It's not about President Ruto. It's about when he leaves office, he will leave it there. What are the benefits the country will accrue?
Because, yeah, go ahead.
Because if Harambe 1 has reached its mileage, 30 years, so if the jet is for the country, for the president, who is seated on the, I wanted to say throne, but who is on that chair.
It's a throne.
It's a throne.
This is our kingdom, Kenya.
Good. So that part, if that is just using it for convenience right now, because it's like I just need the jet so that I can move from point A to point B as the president. You see, because you don't expect him to do the public transport and all that. So if it's for the country like this is, yes, I get it. The cost was a bit high. Yes, it's okay.
10
but
billion.
10 billion. The cost is really high. But at the same time, you see the problem with the people in power is one, they never tell you where they are going to buy or how it's going to be acquired. They don't even tell you about it. They just have, this is the cost, this is what I want. So I don't know who is getting the stipend, if there's any, but I think we do not disagree on him having a jet, because it's not for him. If he goes next time, if he must go and then he goes, someone else will come and sit in the throne, will still use the one, because he also found Harambe 1, just like the former used Harambe 1. So we are sure this is going to be used by the next person. But if it's just, this is the amount you're buying a jet, now that is what makes it fishy, even for people to make it news, actually.
You see, in 1973, President Mobutu Sese Seko went to a country known as Mauritania. And in Mauritania, he was hosted by the president then, known as Mokhtar Ould Dada.
Mokhtar, I remember that name when
Mokhtar
I was
Ould Dada.
Yes.
So for a week, Mauritania was by 73, in 73, Mauritania was a very poor country. They were a country of sheep, people who are shepherds and all this and all this. So when Mobutu landed in his elegance, his private jet, lots of cologne and money, and the host president did not change his cheap suit for 1 week. And Mobutu was really embarrassed that I've been seeing this president for a week and he has not managed to change his outfit. So when Mobutu was leaving, going back to Congo, he called the president's assistant and said, because he didn't want to embarrass the president, he told the president, the assistant, this is $5 million. Please pass it to the president. And he passed the addresses where all the top designers in France.
$5 million?
Yes. This is Mobutu Sese Seko
$5 million?
Back then.
Yeah.
So he said, this is where you can buy all this, but that's a gift to the Mauritanian president. What the president did, he was told that Mobutu has left a gift for you. And he said, how much is it? He said, 5 million. He said, deposit it to the National Treasury. It was deposited to the National Treasury. That time, Mauritania needed to build a higher education to train nurses. That money, he took it and used to train nurses for the whole country. Mobutu came back to Mauritania in 1977, and the Mauritanian people were lining the streets thanking Mobutu. So Mobutu didn't know when he asked the president, why is everyone thanking me? I've not done anything to these people. He told him, don't worry. You remember that money you gave me? I'm taking you to what we built with it. So my point is, there are people who understand what their country needs. Mokhtar understood what Mauritania needed that time is to get it out of poverty. That 5 million was not meant for his outfit. It was meant to better the lives of his countrymen. So if we are going to repair this jet, we can as well buy a new one. But first of all, the president should look at what Kenyans need. The interest of our country is things should be working so that we can tell him, Mr. President, you have performed so well in these areas you said you'll deliver. Now, let's go buy you now a better jet. Forget about this Fokker 190 which you own. let's go get you a better jet so that it can help you achieve the dream of making Kenya a great nation. But if that is not being realized, then I do not see why we can't just fly KQ to all our meetings internationally so that it can reduce in its losses and make profit.
The only pushback I'll give against that is this. When it comes to the president, a president even should always, even a matter of security, the president is not just a normal citizen and should not even be treated as such. And I even think that's even important that even we recognize that. Even if we may scream even one time when everything must go, but we also must recognize even the position that he actually has. And the reason why it's very important that even we make sure that even this jet, because the maintenance cost for the jet itself is even more expensive at the cost that even we've been constantly, even right now it's in Netherlands. It's undergoing a cost right now which we are actually even paying right now as Kenyans. The issue, the thing I would have is that the president actually does have to travel outside the country in order to get even resources and other things that he actually needs to for the development of even Kenyans. What we have to recognize is the role of the president. The major role of the president is an emblem of the nation. And there are other duties that other representatives have within this nation that are there that are not solely the president's duty. So even sometimes when it comes to even now operational things that he has allocated cabinet secretaries, he has allocated members of parliament are the ones to do that. MCA is actually their duty. There are different roles that even every single part of the government is supposed to play. And when it comes to the president, in order for his role to be executed more efficiently, yes, there is a need to make sure that indeed we do actually get a new Harambee one, or we actually make sure we get a permanent solution for his international travels, because guess who is the #1 ambassador for the nation of Kenya? That is the president of this nation of Kenya. That's why I say that's actually very important. We actually cater for that. And other things that have been allocated to execute, make sure that those people who have been allocated those rules and responsibilities, they implement them and they execute them, because indeed resources have already been allocated. The problem we have is the implementation of those things. That's how I would keep it real.
You see, my problem with that, Simon, is very basic, because that Harambee one cannot even fly to very far places.
Yeah, that's the problem. Yeah.
So why are we repairing it?
That's why we just need to buy a
Just
new
buy
one.
another one. If
The
you're
10
saying
billion.
his office is an emblem,
Yeah.
forget about the old thing. Anyway, Kenyatta operated without one.
Yeah. But
Isn't it?
Yeah, yes, yeah.
In if you go to look at when this jet was being bought, there was an uproar. And you
Yeah.
can go to what was written when Moi was trying to purchase this second-hand plane. It was second-hand, by the way.
Why was he buying second hand?
Because he knew what the
From
nation
Netherlands.
Second
needed.
hand.
Yeah, it was second-hand. So I'm telling you,
Because we couldn't
now let me
afford
tell you
them.
guys, it was second-hand. The country had a big uproar about buying of this Harambee one, because it was not worth the money it was bought, number one. Number two, we are repairing an old plane which cannot sustain and the next flights of mileage. So if president is serious about his endeavor as an emblem, the way you say, he would say this 30 billion, we can add little bit of money and buy a new jet, which
You mean we are not
bestows
buying
office.
a new jet?
We are not.
Not yet.
So I
not
thought
yet.
we are buying
No,
a new jet.
There is discussion.
The 10 billion.
The maintenance, actually, right now, what's happening is the maintenance for the all 2026, and then after 2026 is when the conversation about the new
Buying
jet is
another
come-
one.
is supposed to come now.
So you're wasting money repairing something that does not have any more mileage left.
Well,
No, it can be
We're
used
giving it for the
continentally.
one last year.
Yeah,
One
but
last
even
year.
that one, they could give it to our local flights here, and then we just buy another one.
Okay.
That's now, yeah. That's how it works. Where, hey, that's the way you
I
get it.
love that story of Mauritania.
Yeah?
And I think, so for me,
Punchline.
the biggest uproar here is because there's so many other things that are urgent in our country. When we have headlines of women being stuck
Yes.
in hospitals, then we are like, what else can that money do? Yeah? What else can the money do? But otherwise,
And
What's your
that's
point?
what the Mukhtar did. Today, Mauritania is not as poor as it used to be. The first president of Mauritania really helped shape that country.
yes.
True. The founding
Because you
father.
can see the founding father forgot about wearing the same suit for a week, and you have a dignitary for a week. You just change the shirt. Coat ni ile ile, long ni ile ile. Every day. Not that because you cannot take money from the national treasury. It's just because you want the people to grow from shepherding of sheep and camels to a country where you can develop people and have skills for everyone.
Sure. What is your punchline for today's show?
The tongue is a very small object, but the words it can speak, so speak blessings to your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, true that. And always, at the same time, no matter what curses or blessings someone speaks on you, it's your actions that shape and define your life.
Abracadabra. I speak as I create.
I like that. You taught me something new. I never knew abracadabra is speak as.
You create.
And abbreviation, did you guys know?
F-U-C-K.
Fornication under the consent of the king.
Exactly.
We have a king, we need a consent.
See you guys next week. That was a nice one that you told.
Today we've learned a lot of things.
I've heard about that. I had heard about that. I knew about that one.
You knew about that?
Yes.